Hello, today we're talking about Satanists in Florida. Welcome in, this is Dr. Darnise, and this is Religion, Magic, and History. And today we're talking about how the Satanists are raising their hand in the state of Florida to go into public schools and be counselors and chaplains. So the story is that the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, good old Ron, he doesn't want African American history taught in his state. And so he has been, of course, eager to have Christianity restored into public schools. And so one of the things that he did was to open the doors to chaplains, Christian chaplains, to come into the schools and to perform their duties as a counselor. Well, the Satanic Temple has said, well, if we're going to have religious chaplains coming into our school systems, then we have to have more than just Christian chaplains coming into our school systems, because students are entitled to freedom of religion, really, freedom from religion. And so the Satanists in particular, and I'm looking at an article here from The Hill, you can Google the story if you are more curious. Lucian Graves, who is a co-founder and spokesperson for the Satanic Temple in Florida, reports that he is most eager to send people from his church to volunteer to fill school counselor roles. Governor DeSantis signed a law allowing religious chaplains into public schools amid staffing shortages. And so the governor is very content with Christian chaplains coming into the schools to not proselytize, he says, right? Not to encourage or mandate any student to be a Christian, not to proselytize, but to fill staffing shortages. And so he's saying, yes, we can have chaplains functioning as school counselors in schools throughout Florida. Well, and DeSantis also said that he does not recognize the Satanic Temple as a religion, and so he would not permit their chaplains to fill these roles. However, the U.S., right, on a federal level, does recognize Satanism as a religion, and so Governor DeSantis really cannot say that they're not a religion. And so when I say that I've been kind of waiting on the Satanists, I know it sounds weird to say that I've been waiting on, but because the Satanists, and you might not know this, but they really are and have been a staunch advocate for freedom from religion. They continually protest against what they consider to be an agenda against freedom from religion, which we have in America, right? And so they see this encroachment of Christianity, the Bible being taught in schools, now, the Ten Commandments being posted in schools in Louisiana, the Bible being taught in Oklahoma. The Satanists consider this to be, imposing upon their rights, really imposing upon all rights of Americans. And so they're like, wait a minute, we can't allow you to just impose your religion, Christianity, or any religion upon our children. And if you insist on opening up religion in public schools, then you must open the doors for other members of other religions to come into schools as well. Otherwise, that's a violation of our freedom from religion that we have as part of our Bill of Rights. And so I have been waiting, because I know the Satanists have often been part of this resistance. That's what I mean when I say I've been waiting to see where they show up, because I knew they would. This is the kind of thing that they really relish doing, is to sort of point out America's hypocrisy regarding religion, this idea that we have freedom of religion. We say it that way, right? Freedom of religion, but really it's freedom from religion, that we're protected from there being a state religion as American citizens. We're protected from having to sort of kiss the ring of any particular religious authority. And so if you are not familiar with Satanists, because of course, many people are not actually familiar with what they stand for. And they stand for radical freedom. They resist outside authority, right? They put their primary belief system in self and their own free will, right? So think about why they might call themselves Satanists, right? And think if you think in terms of the Bible and how we understand who Satan was, at least what the Bible tells us. Satan or Lucifer was the angel who rejected the authoritarian or tyrannical rule of God. Like they see this idea of God, or at least Yahweh, as being a tyrant, a deity who insisted on having his own way, and that Lucifer, as this angel, refused to bow down to the tyranny of a God who said, you have to worship me, and you have to now worship these humans. You have to, well, not worship humans, but you have to be in service. That's a better way of saying it. You have to be of service now to these humans that I've created. And Lucifer said, I won't. Lucifer protested. Lucifer was a resistor, and his legion, right? And so we have these stories that they were cast out of heaven. And, so the way Christianity teaches this is the worst thing possible. This is ultimate blasphemy to turn against God. And so those people who call themselves Satanists, they say, no, we resist absolute authority because that's tyranny. We have our own free will and we should be able to follow it. Now, I'm not going to go into a whole big old thing about teaching further about Satanism. If you're interested, just go to their website and you can find out all you want about them. I think most people would be surprised, most Americans anyway, would be surprised at how progressive they are and how even compassionate they are. But what they refuse to do is to substitute anybody else's rules or dictatorship over their own sense of self and their own free will. They imagine themselves to be following Lucifer or Satan in that particular way, which means I will bow down before none. I do what I want to do in service to myself and those I choose, right? So, and as Americans, in a way, that sounds like how Americans are. I do what I want, right? But then when you label it a Satanist, then Americans, for the most part, run fleeing in fear. So it stands to reason then that this group would stand up for religious liberty. That's really what they're doing. They're standing up for religious liberty. They have also been very vocal about supporting women who are choosing, pro-choice, right? Who want the option of seeking an abortion, because there is a religious exemption, right? And so you could say, a woman could say, as part of my religion, I am exercising my own free will and I can seek an abortion if it is in alignment with my religious belief system. And so the Satanist said, hey, y'all can come over here. If you need a religion to say that this is part of your religious orientation, or, even during, the pandemic, those who didn't want to get the jab, they said, hey, come over here. Because if you need a religious exemption, if you need to be a part of a membership, a religious membership, you can come be part of our church and exercise your own free will. Okay, so there's a little bit nuggets about Satanism, but what I wanted to come on here and say is that you can really expect to hear more from these Satanists. The ones here in Florida, they're making a stand against what they consider to be religious tyranny. And they are really ready, willing, and able to stand up to the governor of Florida and say, if you want to open the doors to religion coming into schools, then here we come. And DeSantis thinks that he can block it. The Satanists are like, we're always down for a fight. See you in court. So I would love to hear your comments on this, because probably this is going to have, I'm sure people have things to say about it. So I'd love to hear your comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.